nerderotic.com.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Diego, California. Clownifornia nightmare. That's what it is. And, well, while the world is unsure about certain things that we're not going to discuss today, I'm going to bring you some good news. Some good news. Hi, Q. How's it going? On the Doctor Who front, no, Jodie's not gone yet. Chris Chibnall isn't gone yet, but there are signs. There are signs. And we are going to talk about the Lucas trilogy, one of them, I believe. We're also going to talk about the mighty Gina Carano and the incoming comic Bloodbath. We've already started to see it earlier this year, and then DC Comics has laid off a bunch of people. A couple of women. Terrible, terrible news. And it looks like it's going to be even worse. And your boy Zach has talked about this quite a bit. So comic shops rely quite a bit, especially nowadays, on the holidays, since they're, as Zach puts it, geek boutiques now and not comic shops. And while I want them to survive, I don't know if they can. And after the holidays, that's when you generally see comic shop closures, January, February. It's nothing new. It's been happening pretty consistently since 2017. And we will see what happens. But I think it's going to be pretty bad. Pretty bad. But we'll start with you guys. We'll see who's here. We've got Vigilante Williamson, Fat Elvis, Last Vandaler, People's Front of Canada, Code Comics, Codenomics. Okay, I got it. Legatus, Legionus, Robert Payne, Fallout Zone G, Psych S, Eric K, Maldicidio. How am I supposed to say this? Some of these names, man. Maldicidio 1904, Raging Rhino, what's up? Keck44, People. Oh, I've already done that one. Ton Carpenter, Cash Kester, Jennifer Sisko, and the Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews. He was probably asking me not to. Mark Lizette, he's probably asking me not to say Dr. Karen. It's fine. We can let his comments go. And let me start out by saying, let's make sure today is going to be politics free. Generally, this channel is politics free. I'll let you know when we discuss them. We discuss them on Friday Night Tights pretty freely. This channel's mainly about what I want to talk about and what you guys want to talk about. And sometimes that comes in. And of course, election season was crazy. It still is. Nothing's decided. But I'm not going to be discussing any of that stuff here today. We're going to be going over pop culture, and the Modrotics work for free, and it's a thankless job, but we got to remember to warn people quite a bit. And I I am a free speech person, but I'm not a free speech absolutist. I like my channel to stay around. And as long as you're not confrontational, it's fine to put out your views on that stuff. But again, we're not going to be talking about it here. We're going to be talking about Doctor Who, the comic industry. We could certainly talk about politics as it relates to pop culture specifically, like with Gina Carano being canceled for her beliefs. We're also going to discuss my good friend Josiah, who was recently demonetized for censorship. And censorship, I don't think, is really a partisan. Well, it shouldn't be a partisan issue. It's starting to become one. But yeah, as far as this channel is concerned, again, you can have your views. You can say what you want about me. I don't care. That's fine. But let's keep it cool in the chat. All right. Okay. Now, we're going to start with the good news. Let's start with some good news, shall we? We've got Doctor Who has been a subject I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. And a lot of predictions have been made. I have discussed some rumors. I'll discuss other people's rumors, but they are not fact. But the one thing a lot of us suspected was that the 13th season, based on what we saw with the ratings, could possibly be reduced. There was a lot of evidence out there that it might be split, specifically a cable company asking how you felt about that. And that was brought to me by Starry Eyed Girl. Thank you. And I put it in a couple of my videos. Well, we have confirmation today that Doctor Who Series 13, which could be the last season for the first female Doctor Who, played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen. Her last season might be, well, it is. It's confirmed. It's 8 episodes. And this is from... do I want to go to the Mirror? God, they have a lot of ads. Oh my goodness, do they have a lot of ads? Yeah, we're going to have to go to Radio Times, unfortunately, who has less ads. But as you know, Radio Times is a shill for Doctor Who. And quite frankly, I used to go to this site a lot and liked it before Doctor Who decided to inject its show filled with partisan politics and all kinds of woke PC garbage. All right, I didn't set this up early, so this is probably not going to be pretty here. I got to set this up. This is probably, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Hang on, folks. Give me a moment. I need to put in a background of some kind. Let's do we want to go in the downloads? There we go. And we will fix this. Boom. Okay, we're done. All right. Doctor Who showrunner Chris Chibnall. Chibi. I like to call him Chibi. I know some people like to call him Chin Balls. That's okay too. Confirms 3 episodes cut from next series. It's due to the coof, everyone. It's due to the coof, and it has nothing to do with sinking ratings. I mean, I have never seen a show's ratings sink that fast. An established show over the course of 2 seasons. One that was in, I could argue, out of the 3 top franchises, which of course are Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who, in my opinion. Doctor Who was at 2013, was in the best position. Remember, this is right after the Disney sale. We didn't know much. We knew things were coming. But as far as capturing the youth of America, well, Doctor Who owned Comic-Con for 2 years over Star Wars. Star Trek was, even after the JJ Trek, was just a blip at best. I mean, more of a blip than it is now. It's more of a blop. But Doctor Who ruled. It had kids watching, men, women, all shapes and sizes. It was the show for everyone, absolutely everyone, to enjoy. Kick back, relax. About, 40 minutes to an hour of escapism. And now it's a lecture for 40 minutes, and not even a good one. So it looks like the iconic sci-fi series is the latest production to reveal COOF problems. Well, part of those problems reside from who's working on the show now. Chris Chibnall has been a showrunner for going on, it's going to be 4 or 5 years now. And I do not believe he's working on any other shows. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do remember Russell T. Davies and Stephen Moffat working on other shows, and they were able to produce. Now, Moffat had his problems, and this was a huge problem for Doctor Who with the split seasons, the delays. Well, we've got nothing but constant delays from what should be a very simple series to make because they're not putting as much money into it as they were. They don't have as much episodes as they had, as many episodes as they did with her male counterparts. And I've always stated that the BBC is completely sexist in this decision, to the absolute letter of the definition as it stands now. Moving forward, we know definitions to words will be changing. So please, remember, keep your old Webster dictionaries around because things will be changing. Come January if things play out the way the media would like them to play out. So we know that they slapped a male established tag on a female, didn't write her like a female, gave her less episodes, more companions, therefore she had less screen time. I mean, I could go on and on. And they didn't make her do the work she needed to do to learn about a storied age, 50-plus-year-old franchise. It takes homework. She sat down to watch a few episodes, got intimidated, and stopped. And they go, "It's okay, love. It's okay, darling, little lady. It's okay. You don't have to do the same work that all the men did. It's fine." The showrunner for Doctor Who, Chris Chibnall, Chibi, has confirmed that the next season of the sci-fi drama has been hit. It's not, it's not a soap opera. The sci-fi soap opera has been hit by the COOF restrictions and has had to reduce its normal run to 8 episodes, but he added he was thrilled to be making anything at all. There's a couple ways you can read into that statement. Gratitude, or there was a possibility they weren't going to make anything at all. I don't know. I'll read both into it. And I'm going to have to get up and turn off that heater in a second. I forgot I left that on. That's why I was looking over there. So, yeah, there's 2 ways to look into that. And I believe once this year plays out, especially we'll see what happens after the UK lockdown. And again, I'm sorry you're all locked down right now. But we will be joining you shortly. I promise you. I hope not. I hope everything just magically goes away. But if it does, I'm going to be pissed. But I hope for your guys' sake that you're free soon. We'll see. We'll see. Season 13 will be Jodie Whittaker's third outing as the Doctor. And, of course, that's the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call, what's up, Dr. 14 Blu-ray Reviews, Dr. Karen. Dr. Karen. Look at her haircut, dude. That is a Karen haircut. She leads around a couple of, as the BBC puts it, not me, people of color, like the good little white feminist that she is. So, yeah. Her third outing as her bad impression of David Tennant and Matt Smith as the Doctor. And not even her expertise in the realm of time and space has avoided the damage inflicted on the TV industry by the coof. And, of course, the TV industry itself. You see, if this was a popular show, if people actually liked it, I'm guessing it would have still gotten its 12 or 13 episodes. If this was, a runaway favorite, by all accounts, now I can't confirm this, but by all accounts, Doctor Who was supposed to air on Christmas Day. They were supposed to bring back the Christmas special, and they being the BBC, didn't want to take the ratings hit. So it has been moved to New Year's Day. This was, I believe, also confirmed in this article. I'm not sure if it's, we're basing this on the Mirror, which right now I would trust more than pretty much any mainstream media here in America. But a chibi, pictured to the right, explained to the Mirror that the new health and safety protocols meant that each episode of Doctor Who was taking significantly longer to film than previously. Well, what I heard was this was happening already, and we have proof because of the delays based on the new hiring protocols at the BBC. They have some inexperienced people working. And you know what? It's great. I think it's good. Hire out of your selective pool and bring new people in. I'm not against that at all. I would personally do it with like your lower tier shows to have, build up their experience first before they're on the crown jewel. But maybe this isn't the crown jewel anymore. Maybe it's a lower tier show. So touche. I've heard that it's been taking a lot longer to film these episodes because of the lack of experience on the set. It's just what I've heard. Cannot confirm any of this, of course. And yes, I hear you. I haven't been talking about Doctor Who lately because there hasn't been much to talk about. There's been some rumors, and we have discussed those. I don't know what to believe on that front. I have reached out to my person. My person has not heard anything. So I have stated what I've stated in the past, that I believe it is Chibi and Jodie Whittaker's final season. I reported, passed on those rumors earlier this year, back in March, June, something like that. I can't remember, a couple months ago. And a lot has changed. And it's looking like Doctor Who, it might not be long for the world. We'll find out. I think it really depends on how this season goes as far as the entirety of the franchise. In the meantime, they have really delved into the past and fucked it up even worse, in my opinion, with some of the comic books and the books. And Big Finish is lost to me, which is very, very sad. That was the one thing I can go back to. And there's still a lot of older episodes I can enjoy, but there's nothing new we can bring forward because they are screwing things up as much as the show are. It is. In this strangest of years, the Doctor Who production team have worked wonders to get the show back into production. He said, given the complexity of making Doctor Who and with new and rigorous COOF working protocols, it's going to take us a little longer to film each episode, meaning we expect to end up with 8 episodes rather than the usual 11. Well, it's usually 12, except for Jodie. I am guessing this will get split as well into possible. I don't think it'll be an even split because they'll probably. Now, is that 8 including a holiday? So you're only going to get 7? I'm working this out in my head. So if we're only getting 8 episodes, that's including their festive special, correct? So you're only getting 7 episodes of proper series. Like I said in my tweet, thank the maker for small favors, spelled with a U, just for my British viewers out there. Yeah. Doctor Who executive producer Matt Stevens said, "We are so thrilled to have unlocked the TARDIS, dusted down the Sonic. Oh, it's probably been in heavy use considering how it's shaped, and be able to start filming again for the next series of Doctor Who." Speaking of vigorous, the amazing production team, crew, and cast have worked wonders to get us shooting again in these challenging times. How does that make you feel, British public? I'm speaking to the British business owner out there, or anybody who had a job who is currently locked down, told you were non-essential. How does it make you feel that they are still filming? Pretend while you worry about your future, while you sweat whether you're going to be able to stay open through what could be another lockdown, because quite frankly, they can do this shit forever. How does that make you feel? Probably pretty shitty. I could tell you it made us feel pretty crappy when we were watching Walmart and Target and Walgreens open and other facilities, and we were told we couldn't because we were non-essential. Yet, it seemed to me every politician was pretty well groomed. My wife owned, past tense, a hair salon. Still does not feel good to say that at all. It's going to be as fun-filled and action-packed as ever, so it's going to suck. With plenty of surprises, so you're going to shock us more because you've got nothing. When you have nothing, you have to rely on surprises. You know what would fucking surprise me, Chris Chibnall? Make a decent episode of Doctor Who. Make me laugh once. And I'm not even going to ask you. I mean, Doctor Who episodes don't scare me, but they were creepy. That's not going to happen. Under Chibnall's predecessors, Stephen Moffat and Russell T. Davies, Doctor Who typically ran for 12 episodes per season, plus a Christmas special. That's 13 episodes. This year, the festive special, because we can't say Christmas anymore. Christmas. Revolution of the Daleks, filmed back in 2019, is expected to air on New Year's Day 2021. We will be live right after the British airing. Once again, I will have a team of people with me. I don't know who yet, but I'll figure it out back then when it comes up. While I was just watching my live stream right after the Timeless Children, which is I think it's equal to Doomcock and I is I don't know how you say that. Our live stream right after Game of Thrones season 8 episode 3. It was, looking back, it was March. The COOF restrictions hadn't come. Such an innocent time. And it was Starry-Eyed Girl, Bolstrek, and yours truly. And then Az came on later. And we were stunned into silence that they actually made the Doctor a little black female and erased, essentially, William Hartnell as the first Doctor forever. And, somebody had tried to correct me because I've said that the Doctor is no longer technically a Time Lord. And I stand by that, by the way. If you go back and watch the episode, the Time Lords, while ceremonially, I can't say it, maybe he is, but if you watch the episode, he's not. He's not Gallifreyan. He's not a Time Lord anymore. It's fucking ridiculous. While season 13 is likely to air in autumn of 2021. Likely to air. Watch for that to change, or again, and this is my guess, it gets split. In it, the Doctor is seen locked away in a high-security alien prison where I hope she stays forever. While on Earth, Yaz is sitting there at a table. Ryan and Graham join her sitting at a table, and have to work out how to fight the Daleks without the help of the Doctor. Well, I'm sure this is going to be exciting. Fortunately, the special was completed before the UK lockdown, the first one. And according to the voice of the Daleks, actor Nicholas Briggs, it will be just the tonic for the Doctor Who fans after this abnormal of years. Nicholas Briggs, one of the biggest disappointments to me in Doctor Who. He went shill. I guess he had to. You know, he works for Doctor Who. He doesn't want to go against the grain. And he supported the destruction of the show he loved so dearly. But now he's just there for a paycheck. That's okay. You know, I got to respect people like Philip Morris out there who have stood their ground and taken a lot of shit for it. And just remember, everything. And Gina Carano has really kind of paved the path for this. There's a way to deal with that shit. There is a way to deal with it. And remember, it's just pixels. These people have no heart, no soul, no balls. None of them would say any of that to you, to your face, and it can easily be ignored. And I do it without blocking or muting anyone. So, and then they blah, 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 great times ahead, whatever. All I can tell you is the data is in. It's undeniable. Everything, every single one of these channels has been saying Dave Cullen made the first video on this subject that I saw. Bolstrek was there early. I came in. Many others came in. Many others were there. You know, they just weren't getting the signal boost. Stating that this will kill the show. This was a political decision to turn the Doctor female. You could have easily created a new character or used an existing one to build another show. And if you weren't sexist, BBC, you would have done that. And you've done it in the past. They have done it in the past successfully. Of course, the Sarah Jane Adventures. You could have done the very same thing. Created, had a female lead and placed it in this universe and played it off of Doctor Who, meaning you have a Doctor Who season and then you have a season of whatever this show could be. Could be one of 100 things. And you would have had year-round Doctor Who. And that would have been a nice, healthy franchise. You could have doubled the product lines, including the toy lines. You would have twice as many soundtracks to sell, twice as many audio adventure opportunities, twice as many t-shirt opportunities, and you didn't do it. See, they still have the ability to make Doctor Who. I discussed this with Daz yesterday. They still have the ability to make a good James Bond film. I discussed it in my Winds of Winter video. George has the ability to write a Song of Ice and Fire book the way he wants to write it. And Amazon has the ability to adapt true Tolkien into a TV show that could be a massive hit. But we have questions. And why do we have questions? They are unwilling to do the thing that would guarantee money and happy fans because of a very, very small minority who is controlling entertainment right now. Now, there is the argument. Will they lose their control now that entertainment seems to have gotten what they wanted? No. The answer will be no. That's a naive thought to think that people relinquish power. They don't. There's rare cases, of course, but not in Hollywood and not in state or federal government. So don't expect that to happen. Don't expect that to happen. Expect more of the same, double, triple, quadruple down, and I guarantee you we're going to get that with Doctor Who Series 13. All right. talk amongst yourselves for just a moment. I have to go turn off a heater that I forgot to turn off. It's not good to leave an electric heater on. And yes, it's cold here. It's cold here. So forgive me. Un momento. Okay, I'm back. Told you it wouldn't take long. I thank you for your patience. Okay. I think it's great news, though, that we're going to get fewer episodes. I am very sorry for the rest of the production teams and for the innocent parties, of course, at the BBC who just want to work a job, you know, the caterers and all that. Well, just keep in mind that the people, and the same thing for Hollywood, the people you supported are laying this out for you. So you can't get mad. Oh, they will at other factors, but as far as California is concerned, anything that affects California is decided by California. It's the way our country works. The federal government has very little to do with where I live other than funding it. They give it a hell of a lot of money. But as far as control, no. They have little to none. Just the way I like it. Just the way I like it. I don't necessarily like how California is running things right now, but I love the state's rights. I do. And I can always go to another state, and that's what I choose to do. But as far as Doctor Who is concerned, it's just watching a slow death, and it's sad. It's sad. There's a lot of Doctor Who fans out there who are holding out hope, and I don't want to destroy that. But I will just say you can always be a fan. You don't have to stop being a fan. We have been blessed with so much great Doctor Who, a lifetime's worth. And it had a pretty good run. I mean, there's shows out there that are beloved that had one season. Az is talking about it, I think, right now with Robert Burnett. The Prisoner had one season. Firefly, one season. You know, the original Battlestar Galactica, technically one season. And we got a lot. We got a lot. And there's so much of it. I repeat it all the time. I've got it kind of on a loop. I watch random episodes. I'm watching some now. I had to stop because I have to watch Rocky. Tomorrow I'll be on the Critical Drinkers channel discussing the Rocky franchise with Az from Heel versus Babyface and Doomcock. That should be fun. But I have to find some time to watch 4 movies between now and tomorrow morning, which means sleep. I don't need sleep because I'm finishing behind me today, and I have to spend a little bit of time with my kid who had the day off, which I believe today's Veterans Day, right? Is it Veterans Day? I'm terrible with this stuff. Yes, it's Veterans Day. I'm awful. I'm not a veteran, but thank you to all the veterans out there. That's why my kid's off school today, off of his virtual school, which I'm having to spy on right now. That feels a little weird that I have to spy on the virtual school. Christian Basil for $10. Hail, Gary, can you give a shout out to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS here on iHeartRadio? Just cleared 40,000 Facebook subscribers. Congrats on your 300,000 subscribers. Love to have you back on vice versa. Move to Florida. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. We have friends in Florida. I guess Jeremy's there too. I'm just kidding. Christian, yeah, I'll go on your Christian. Talk to on Twitter. Contact Lady Gravemaster. She's probably more aware of my schedule than I am at this point, and I will most certainly come back on the radio show and talk about it. Of course. Culture Casino, thank you for the phallic unicorn again for $1.49. Raging Rhino, and hail Culture Casino and all your success on YouTube. I appreciate you, man. Raging Rhino, who just passed 1,000 subscribers, for Australian $4.49. Fist bump right back at you, brother. We rise together, and a good up-and-coming channel right there. Scott Howe for $5. What is the copyright date on your title card supposed to be? Because it says 2022. It does? Copyright card. I didn't know I had a copyright card on my title. Yeah, I have no idea. I'll look into it, Scott. That confuses me as much as it confuses you. There's a copyright card on titles. It might be an expiration date for YouTube. I laugh, but I'm not joking at all. Mellis Williams for 99 cents. Thank you for the popcorn. I appreciate it. Here, I'm curious about that now. Let me see. Licensing, standard license everywhere. Allow embedding. I don't see a date. Maybe we're in the future and we just didn't know it. Java Bean, what's up, buddy? Hey, Gary, I have posted you a Amigo 4th Doctor. Hell, you did not, Java Bean. Dude, those things are worth money. Oh, my God. Thank you, brother. Well, if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. I know you, our friends in Australia have been going through, I mean, we're complaining about lockdowns. They have been locked down. And the only person in the country who doesn't seem to mind it is Lethal Lightning for some reason. Like, I love being locked down. No, I'm just kidding. Phoenix Tangent. Thank you, Java Bean. I'm going to have to send you something back. Phoenix Tangent for $5. I'm glad to be here, Gary. I love the nooners. Everybody loves a nooner. You got to slip in a nooner somewhere, you know, and you got to know when to pull the nooner out as well. It's all timing. It really is. But I don't think anybody dislikes a nooner or an afternoon delight. It just depends on your fancy. Grim Madness for $5. Hello, don't watch your videos, but I do get my Doctor Who updates from you. And thank you for being politics free. I'm so tired of hearing it. Yep. I've gotten emails, I've gotten messages, I've heard you, and it's okay to talk about them once in a while as it pertains to entertainment. This channel is a pop culture channel, period. Of course, the culture war has become very political, so it depends on what you mean by politics. But I think, Jeff Hicks said it pretty well on World Class Bullshitters last night. If it's a separate story that's about just the politics, that's what my California videos are for. And if I put the California subject in the live stream, that means we can talk about it. But that's about California politics and generally how it affects Hollywood. Hollywood's really going to regret being in this state very, very soon. Trust me. If they don't already. Behind the scenes, of course. Behind the scenes. Mr. Bentham for $2. Hail, Gary. Where can I get a nice hat like that too? Email me. Gary@nerdrotic.com, or if you're on Twitter, you can DM Mrs. Nerdrotic at Agent Bossy Boots, and she'll tell you how. She is currently out of town, but she'll probably get back to you. Smooth Jam California for £5. Hey, Gary, you recently mentioned in a stream you worked on the film Mars Needs Bomb. Oh, yes, I did. And at the back end, at the very back end. Is that true? This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yes. I worked on the Blu-ray. Extensively. And I've seen that movie 50 times. It is dark. It is dark and it is terrible. It starts out, well, Mars is abducting moms and killing them. Yeah. And there's a character stuck on the planet Mars. He's been there. He was abducted. He accidentally was abducted with his mom, and I'm remembering from many, many years ago. And he's an adult there now. And and they put, Zemeckis put a lot into this movie, a lot of money, and it broke him for a little while because it was such a bomb. Keely Ann for $10. Rumors of police box no more. The Doctor will repair the chameleon circuit. It will work once and break again, leaving the TARDIS stuck in a rainbow unicorn kiosk for the foreseeable woke future, says Keely Ann. I agree. I believe I made a video on the subject saying exactly, I didn't say the rainbow unicorn part, but I did say that because she is so stunning and brave and wonderful, she will fix the chameleon circuit. And I did say they will remove, at the very least, I thought they were just going to move the word police. If they are insane enough to change the TARDIS, good, because then it's not Doctor Who at all anymore. Nathaniel Larson for $10. Just finished the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Makes sense why the SJWs want to remake it in their image with Amazon show. It is the best story possible with strong men and women, showed people fighting for right. Exactly. Eowyn. That story was in the book. It was written in the, I don't know exactly when he wrote that story, but it was the 50s. Had to be the early 50s, late 40s, right? Oh, by the way, Tolkien wrote his story by hand in his study while smoking his pipe. That sounds brilliant. It just sounds brilliant. I would love to do that. Oh my God. And correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I am no Tolkien scholar, but he was still working for university, grading papers, doing his job, and writing this book, and writing a bunch of side stories. The best thing I heard about Tolkien is he wrote like his son's stories from the front. So he would write Christopher Tolkien little stories while he was, I thought I heard that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that. If that is true, that is amazing. That is brilliant. Make his son feel okay while he's gone. But I read that somewhere, so you never know on the internet. You never know. But yes, Tolkien did write the book by hand. And he managed to finish the story. Wow. Now, George has come out in the past, George R.R. Martin, and said Tolkien did not finish his story. That is, I won't call George a liar. I'll say that's disingenuous. That's disingenuous. He did finish, Lord of the Rings was a finished story. The Hobbit was a finished story. He had a bigger story to write that he wanted to write. Publisher wouldn't let him, I believe, at first, but then he continued to do so, and I don't think he ever intended on finishing it. It was just something he worked on the rest of his life. But yeah, so George used that as an excuse of, well, I'm not going to finish my book. You know, Tolkien didn't finish his story either. Bullshit. George isn't interested in the book anymore. That's it. I wish he'd just come out and say it. It's like, this isn't a thing I'm interested anymore. I am doing this purely out of obligation. Now, George is a lot of things, but he is absolutely a perfectionist. And when it comes to writing, a professional. So he doesn't want to put out crap. I understand that. And he goes back and revises. And I get that as an artist. I get it. Okay. As a very low level artist, I get it. But there's a point. I believe you have to have an obligation to your paying customer that I have got to get this out. So as much as I want to revise that, this part is done. I'm not going to touch it anymore because it's just spinning my wheels and I need to move forward. And I don't think he has a lot of people around telling him like, you need to get this done. I doubt his publisher is putting any pressure on him at all. I doubt anybody around him is putting any pressure on him at all. I'm sure he's putting plenty of pressure on himself, and I'm sure that has something to do with the delay. But if you're interested in something, you'll finish it. For example, I'll use George. He finished 3 books in 4 years, and they are the best books. That's when he was on a true roll. And then he got stuck. He went in the Dorn, the Marinese Knot, everything else. He got stuck. Remember, A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons are one book split into 2. He decided to split this book up, which pissed everybody off at the time, and put the main characters in the second delayed book, and then took another 5 years to edit it. And there was a lot of Winds of Winter already written because he took chapters out of A Dance with Dragons that were those battle chapters to put in the Winds of Winter. And I discussed it in my first video from earlier this year that I believe there was up to 5 chapters already done in the book. So we're guessing there's going to be 75 to 85 chapters at most. He has already written upwards of 18 chapters. And that's counting what he said he wrote over the summer. So I'm guessing he took a good 3 years off this book completely. And he had to write Fire and Blood. He stopped writing Winds of Winter to write Fire and Blood. So they could shit out another HBO show because they canceled the 5 prequels. And I don't think people are going to trust HBO I wouldn't trust HBO with a fantasy right now. We are in a time where Hollywood collectively is losing billions of dollars every week by not being able to release films. And that reverberates through the entire industry. And it affects a company like AT&T, which is slashing and burning right now. And they just so happen to own Game of Thrones and the rights to Game of Thrones, which is a very expensive television show that I don't think they're going to take a lot of chances on. That's why they got rid of the woke one, which was called Blood Moon. It was called Blood Moon. So just to let you know, that is a kind of a reverse of a phrase in A Song of Ice and Fire, Moon's Blood. Just to let you know what kind of a show it was going to be. And Ryan Condell is a competent showrunner. So House of Dragon could be good, but are you going to give a shit? For one, you're not going to have the hook of the others. Oh, one thing I didn't mention in my video, they withheld information about the others in Game of Thrones because they were going to put it in the prequel. I think that was an excuse to rush the show personally, but I don't know that for a fact. But it was said that we were supposed to find out more information about the others in the Blood Moon prequel. My guess will be there was a stronger, more powerful woman behind the Night's King, and she got killed, and he was out for vengeance or whatever. Who knows? Because there is the story of the Night's King, and he fell in love with a corpse bride. Not the Tim Burton one. There you go. Nathaniel Larson for $10. Just finished. I read that one. That's not okay. Maynor Rajan for $4.96 says that's not sexism. Sexism is only if the government and government-sponsored corporations denounce a man for refusing humanity, saving castration. Point taken. Manahar, point taken. I forgot. Everything comes from the government. Your rights, your views. They can only sanction things like that. Or big tech. Mr. Clark for $5. Been reading Lord of the Rings during the election to escape, and damn, it's good. Just finished reading them getting through the mines of Moria. Dark. And there's so much more in the books. I mean, the films are perfect. They did what they could. They put in what they could. I don't have a single complaint about the films. Other than I could have watched a 6-hour Peter Jackson version of Fellowship of the Rings. Screw it. Put Tom Bombadil in it. And, you know, the Barrow Downs and the Barrow Whites. That would have been cool. And you would have seen, you know, what, you would have seen more stuff that George R. R. Martin borrowed for his book. Oh, you know that channel that does the rap battles? Usually they're cheesy, but a couple of times they're good. The one where George R. R. Martin is in a rap battle with J.R.R. Tolkien is really good. I watched that one quite a bit. Hello, Governor, says ER for $5. Hello. Thank you for the $5. John Crichton 2.0 for £5. Hail, Nerdrotic. You should check out David Gamel audiobooks on YouTube. He was inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien. My favorite book is Morning Star. Keep up the good work. I will check it out if he's inspired by him. Yeah. So you all saw that line that George wrote, and we'll go to the Nada blog here. Give me a moment. You all saw that line he wrote. Here we go. And the line he wrote was this: sometimes I get the feeling that most of you reading my posts here, I want you to keep that in mind, my posts here about what is happening, care more about what is happening in Westeros than what is happening in the United States. Whew. George, yes. I do not go to the Nata blog to hear what a lifelong science fiction and fantasy author, writer of pretend and make-believe. I don't come to this blog to hear what that person thinks about politics, political procedure. I don't really care. I don't think you would have a very good perspective on it, quite frankly. As a lifelong make-believe writer, you've probably spent a lot of time in solitude. Haven't spent a lot of time out with the common folk. You spend a lot of time at conventions, hanging out with nerds. That's one perspective. But I don't know if you're connected to the working man, the guy who works in the metal shop, the guy who works at the tire shop, or the gal. The gal works at Macy's. I don't think you have a lot of experience with that. You might have seen your dad. I think your dad worked on the docks or something like that. And you saw that. That's good. And your dad was the working man. But, you know, most of your adult life, you've been, he's never been like outright rich. He found his success afterwards. And I think that has a lot to do with the delays. And you have every right to write whatever you want on your blog. Not saying you don't. By all means, keep writing about the Jets and wild cards. I'm not saying not write about that stuff at all, but that's just not why I go there. And I feel the same way about the Jets and the Giants. I mean, for one, as a former lifelong NFL fan, while I respect it, I don't respect it that much, to be honest with you. I didn't at the time. I don't care now. I'm a one-team person. I think you pick a team and you back that team. I'm not some front runner. I don't follow players around. I don't pick 5 teams to root for. I had one team, and I backed that one team and I bled blue and gold San Diego Chargers. And I couldn't get, the only other team I would like is whatever team could help the Chargers. And I always hated the Raiders. So I don't respect that point of view on sports anyway. Yeah, we go to your blog to hear about Westeros. Yes. Hate to break that to you. And it's not just sometimes. You should get the feeling all the time because the vast majority of us go there for Westeros. You got a lot of book fans because of that show. And I believe you got a lot more because the show ended poorly. Now, I still think you would have gotten even more if it ended well. But I think you benefited from the show sucking in a way. And you would, but I think that's gone now. If you would have produced a book this year, you would have hit your bestseller, Hugo winning, everything winning status. It would have been the most talked about thing this year if you released your book, because there's still a gaping open wound from Game of Thrones. But that's starting to scab over. Sorry for the crass, but starting to scab over. It's starting to heal, and people are moving on. And you waited too long, because now Lord of the Rings is set to become, will it be as big as Star Wars? No, because product-wise, it didn't put it. But Lord of the Rings is ready for its second go-around in pop culture. We're hitting the 20-year rule here. The 20-year rule in trends. And it's been 20 years since the Fellowship of the Ring. We're right up on it. Not technically, but we're right up on it. 20-year rule sets in, and the nostalgia sets in, and the Lord of the Rings was the biggest thing at its time. And I liked that they filmed it back to back and released it a year apart. It would have been even bigger if they had waited 2 years between films or 3 years between films. It would have been a cultural phenomenon like Star Wars. It ended up being one, but it wasn't in the public eye for long enough. And it ended after 3 glorious movies. And of course, it won a bunch of Academy Awards, and those were the last legitimate Academy Awards, in my opinion. And who knows, maybe they won them because Harvey Weinstein's name was on them, because that's when Harvey Weinstein was ruling the Academy Awards. And yes, his name is in the credits. But that time has passed, George. It's passed. I don't think House of the Dragon is going to be a hit. I think it'll, and not the way that HBO wants. HBO is not making another Game of Thrones show to get Watchmen ratings or Westworld ratings, which are 1 million overnight ratings, 1.5 million, and then a couple million in streaming. They want Game of Thrones ratings, 10 million overnight viewers, and then another 10 million on streaming, and equal that amount downloaded for free. That's what they're making the show for. And if that show doesn't get it, and I doubt HBO will be as patient as they were in the beginning, because they're putting much more money into this than they did in the beginning of Game of Thrones. It won't be around very long, but it will be a distraction because George is involved in this show. And I think people are just moving on. That's why I put Rest in Peace, A Song of Ice and Fire. Because, I said in my last video, we're not going to get an end to this story. And I hope George lives to be 1,000. I do. I'm not stating I think he's going to die soon. That's not what I'm saying in this video at all. He could live another 20 years. I still don't. And if he does, I still don't think he finishes the books. He doesn't. He's not, for one, if he finishes Winds of Winter, which I think is a big if, the next book he's going to is Fire and Blood Part 2. which he can write faster because it's a history, but that he's not going straight to a dream for spring. So it's not finishing. Now, again, I hope he lives to 1,000 because that's what it'll take. I hope we live to 1,000 too because that's what it'll take to get a finish to that story. But I'm no longer waiting. I just go do other things. And I used to obsess over this book. And my God, I gave Preston Jacobs a little shit in my video, but I actually love that channel. I freaking think it's a great channel. I think his theories are completely whack, but I like them. And I listen to those videos over and over again. And I think he's got a lot of stuff right. And it's entertaining most of all with his little, they're not low effort. I love his style. I think it's funny as hell. But I think half is, I mean, Preston Jacobs doesn't think there's any magic in Westeros and it's all like psychic ability. And I'm like, I roll my eyes at that one a little bit. But I see development hell here. And I think that's what the Winds of Winter is trapped in now. And it's just this nonchalantness. Now, there are a couple things that happened over the last year that are fucked up. And you can totally forgive him for not writing for a little while for sure. But we all have death in our lives. So for example, George, when my father died of cancer, I took 3 days off of work. 3. Then I went back to work. You want to know why? I had to pay bills. I had a mortgage to pay. I had a job that counted on me to be there, that needed me there. So I went to work. And guess what? It also helped. It helped bring normalcy back in my life, helped ground me. So yeah, I took 3 whole days off when my dad died. I'm sure many of you have done the same. By the way, that's all my company gave me for bereavement was 3 days. Now they told me I could take as much time as I wanted, but I only took 3 days because I just wanted to get back to work and get back to normalcy and, just go through the process. Yeah, we all have to deal with this, but you're writing make-believe. And I know you can't just pull it out of your ass. I understand that, but it's been fucking 10 years. It's been 10 years. And a lot of people have repurchased your books, and they are owed respect. Now, I'm not backing anybody abusing George personally. You can speak your mind here by all counts, but I mean adding him on Twitter, stuff like that. I personally do not partake in that kind of stuff, but I'll speak my mind here. And George doesn't ever have to hear about it. That's fine. And I don't mean to put pressure on him. He take your fucking time at this point. I don't care. I'm just here to tell you I don't care. But I did. I'm one of those people who purchased and repurchased your books and spent hours on Reddit. It's the only place you can go on Reddit that wasn't nauseating for a while. Now Reddit's just completely nauseating. But I've watched video after video, talked about it quite a bit. I am a fan. I am a huge fan of this work. I'm not a big fan of his other works. Frankly, this is, I'm just not. It's never caught on with me. I think they're okay, but it's not anything I feel passionate about. Like, he found something special in this. And it's not going to finish. And we need to just realize that. And maybe he should just come out and say, or ask for help, which he won't do. Same argument for the show. When the showrunners knew that they had gone beyond their abilities, they should have just walked to HBO and go, we're going to move on. Maybe you want to get somebody who is into this show. We'd like to keep, our names on for executive producers, but maybe get somebody in here who could, take us to someplace we can't, because we're very good at adapting, but obviously we're not very good at going out on your own. And quite frankly, if I'm not going to go back and watch the show, but like it started going bad in season 5. And it's season 5 I want to bring up in particular, because this will lend to my argument that I think George, and we've talked about it before in live streams, and this isn't this isn't my idea. A lot of us have come to this conclusion, that he is editing and self-editing and self-editing because of the current times we're in. He cannot write a Song of Ice and Fire in the current sci-fi and fantasy environment at all, period. He'll get canceled. They're waiting to cancel George, and we saw it, and I mentioned it in my video. So the end of season 5, you remember, Ramsay forced himself on Sansa after they were married. That happened all the time in a feudalistic society. They got destroyed for that, Dan and Dave. And that scene is not in the book in the way that it happens. Okay. So remember, Sansa has, has her handmaidens, the fake Arya. My God, why am I forgetting? I've read the book a million times. This fake Arya, Sansa got fake Arya's story. And she was forced upon by Ramsay Bolton many times, brutally. So they didn't even show it in the show. Remember, they had Theon in the room and then they panned away and they alluded to it and people freaked out. The Mary Sue said, we'll never cover Game of Thrones again. No loss. Nothing was lost there. But that stuck in his head. And remember, Doctor Who fans, remember when Stephen Moffat was called sexist over and over and over and over again? That stuck in his and it changed his writing. Remember that? Same thing is happening here. It's his peers. It's not you. It's not me. It's not even his publisher. I doubt his publisher gives a shit. They just want a book. But it's stuck in his head because he cares what his peers think. And I read that freaking tweet where the person, George R. Martin, invited somebody on to the Worldcon to present an award, one of his friends, and they turned on him at the drop of a hat and put a tweet. By the way, George almost got canceled over the summer. If you didn't watch my video, or he almost got canceled over the summer. He hosted the Worldcon virtually, and he mispronounced some names and brought up a couple of authors that are on the woke Twitter mob's blacklist because they said or did things decades ago. And by the way, both authors are dead. But George was around back then, so he knows the context. And the 23-year-old women's studies majors who run fucking science fiction right now in Worldcon New Zealand don't. So all they do is cancel instead of looking for context or of treating people like a human being. No, they just went out to cancel. And one of George's friends saw that their publishing future was in question for just being associated with George, and they turned on him. Well, those aren't friends, of course. So that's what happened to George over the summer. And I think that's why he's like getting to a point where, I'm writing a fantasy series based on a feudalistic society that has historical callbacks, we'll say. It's not based on historical reality, but it's a fantasy series that he went out to specifically subvert the tropes of Tolkien in The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So he wanted to explain why things got paid for, how did people rule, explain about trade, and also show brutal leaders who actually do brutal things to women and men. But he's getting to this part in the story because he's got a lot of women in his stories, a lot of strong women. There's tons of feminist messaging in A Song of Ice and Fire, but it's done in a way that is, it doesn't hammer you over the head. It's not preachy. Everybody loves Arya in the books. It's because Arya's gone through a real struggle, a real journey. She's a real character, not this Mary Sue shit that they come out with. But our Arya it's a feminist story in the true sense of the word. So, but bad things happen to Arya. bad things happen to Sansa. And very, very bad things happen to women repeatedly. And because it's a make-believe story, it's not real. But he's going to get a part in a story where maybe Jane Westerling is supposed to be in the prologue. Say she's running off somewhere, and one of the Lannister guards catches her, and they're alone, and he decides to have a little Lannister fun. I don't think a Lannister guard would do it, but maybe one of the Bannermen or something like that decides to take an opportunity out there in the woods or something like that. Most definitely would happen, but George would go, oh, I can't write that now. I can't write that now because I'll be accused of committing violence against women. It's not like you want to look for opportunities, but you want to be free to create. And that's why our writing sucks shit right now, quite frankly, is we have everybody editing, self-editing, and they're not free to make stories anymore because they know they always have these little woke police chirping in their ear. And at the future, obviously, is self-producing and self-publishing. That is the future right now because the gatekeepers, they've allowed the wolf in the door. So look for a lot of Hollywood and comic book types to double down on their behavior over the last few years and look for a few to go, okay, it's time to mend fences. It's time to heal. No. No, you don't get to do what you did over the last 4 years and just make everything okay now. You're going to have to work at that. And you're going to have to make people believe you mean it. So, George, he says right here, I was really on a roll back in June and July. Progress had continued since then, but more slowly. I suffered a gut punch, and that's what I was talking about. But he goes, look at this. We're going to get an HBO show. Does anybody care? I know some people are actually excited about it, but those are hardcore Game of Thrones fans, and there's also hardcore Game of Thrones only channels who are desperate for shit to cover right now. That's why it's good to cover more than one thing. I would say focus on Lord of the Rings. And isn't it interesting the times we live in? I can't say we can't produce. There is an unwillingness to produce a proper, like I said earlier, Lord of the Rings, true to Tolkien and his beliefs and his value system. The devout Catholic Tolkien, who wrote a mythology for England because they were robbed of theirs in 1066. And it grew more sophisticated as time went on, but he didn't write about things like sex because he didn't want that in his story. He didn't feel like it was necessary. Now, is mythology for other countries filled with sex and debaucherous behavior? Absolutely, yes. Adapt that. You know, every culture has their mythology. And you could, instead of doing the opposite of what Tolkien wanted, you could spend your money and adapt a mythology maybe we haven't heard of from another country or another people. I'm sure there's one good enough to adapt, but you're unwilling to do it. Instead, you want to latch on to what Tolkien wanted to create for your own beliefs. Well, if you do that, I can tell you right now, you have failed before you started. It will not succeed at all. Period. Just take your $1 billion and piss on it and then set it on fire and then piss on it again. Amazon. But yeah, so right now in Hollywood, we have an unwillingness to make something traditional because it's too damn traditional. And we're going to go through Tolkien's past. And we've already heard, people like Michael Moorcock have already called him a crypto fascist or something like that. And I like Michael Moorcock's work, but shut the fuck up. And I really do. I really do. But he's also, Michael Moorcock is a true rebel. He is. I understand that. And I can understand a true rebel, but nah. And you also have an unwillingness to make a Song of Ice and Fire. there's certain elements they're going to leave out of the book because there will be violence towards women, or instead of just creating a story that will take people away. Escapism. It's been lost. And that was the point. Because you have escapism, you have people not listening to the centralized official version of events, we'll say. It's all part of the plan. Eric Stoller for $20. Gary, it's not the jocks that took over. It was the bullies who like to punch you when you walk past. Grab your comic out of your hands, rip it up, and walk away laughing. I speak from firsthand experience, RIP Doctor Who. Eric Stoller for $20. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's a lot of elements. I do believe it was Red Letter Media who said it after I said it on live streams a lot, but I don't understand. I'm not talking to you. Google's always listening. That the jocks have taken over. No, the elite has taken over, who are looked at as the jocks. But one of our biggest villains out there in fandom, Eric, is nerds. Nerds with power. Nerds who went through the same things you and I went through, but instead of being empathetic, remembering how shitty it felt to be abused and, put on the outside because you were strange, because you read books, because you weren't good at a sport, because you liked Star Wars, whatever, or because you were just quiet, socially awkward. They were given power, and instead of having that empathy, knowing what it's like, which they knew, they turned it into anger, and they decided to lash out, and they decided to become what they hate, the jocks. So a lot of these jocks I speak of are just nerds with power. And there's posers. Lots of posers. Tons of posers. And now it's a regular thing, but a poser nerd was a laughable concept for most of my life. Like, who would pose to be a nerd? Chris Kelly corrects my English. Doomcock and My. Thank you for $2. Thank you. Doomcock and My's reaction. But how do you... Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. But thank you. Gary, you're technically our doctor. Gandalf and Kirk, says Fat Steven Seagal beat up Pedro Pascal. Shame on him. Thank you for the 2 Canadian pesos, and I appreciate that. Yeah, that's brilliant to be related to that. I don't believe that, but thank you. Thank you. What Pedro said over the weekend, I talked about it in my Mandalorian review. If you don't know where that is, I got to remember to share it more. I have another channel called Nerdrotic Live. On that channel is where all these live streams go when they're done airing. I also put the Super Chat square ups over there every Thursday morning, although you're getting one tonight because I did last week's tonight. Just to let you know, this Friday, the show is going to go as long as it takes. We're probably going to do that from here on out, but we're going to let the hosts go a little bit early so they don't, if they want to. But yes, in my Mandalorian review, I talked about that quite a bit. My Nerdy Home shared Ryan Cannell's video about the infamous Instagram post where that was deleted, where Pedro Pascal called 70 million Americans or anybody outside of the United States who supported the president a Yahtzee for supporting a president, perpetuating the false narrative that we have heard for the longest time. And he reminded everyone why the Fandom Menace hashtag exists in the first place. Jeremy had me on his channel for a stream right afterwards with Ivan Ortega, who I haven't talked to in a long time, and a lot of us haven't seen him online. He's good. It's good to know he's doing well. Hail, Ivan. We had a long talk about this, and how that is detrimental to fandom. It's divisive. It's what we've been seeing for the last, long before The Last Jedi, quite frankly, but it's come to a head. And now all the things we were accused of is what the elites in Hollywood, particular blue check marks on Twitter, do. It's all projection. So when you hear, like, they say dangerous things, they say harmful things that could get people hurt, that could cause violence. When we've seen data to the opposite, this summer, Jeremy from The Quartering was attacked, sucker punched. Now we see Josiah Rises has been removed for simply talking about a process here in the United States that I even bring up. There'll be a tag put on this video. That's how crazy things have gotten. So we've seen it go the other way. And I was very happy to see a lot of people, even in the comment, if you look at the original post, that the first comment on Pedro's Instagram is basically, it says, "I don't like the president, but this is bullshit, dude." I'm paraphrasing what he said. "Don't do this." And I was very happy to see that, because I haven't seen a lot of that. I haven't seen a lot of it. And what he did was he has 500,000 followers, and but he retweeted, as Eric July calls them, brainlet. This brainlet retweeted Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, which was great. That was a great signal boost. What a moron. And he doubles down on it after he deletes it. Of course, you contrast that with Gina Carano, who's been putting up with more shit than Pedro. Pedro, by the way, puts up posts like that so he can get attaboys, because he needs those attaboys. A successful millionaire actor who fled persecution in a country, arrived at this country because his family fled persecution and thrived, is now starring in a Star Wars show. You should be thanking your maker that you get to pretend, basically a voice actor at this point and co-star to Baby Yoda. And you should fucking thank your gods every day that you have this job. No, you want to go out and shit on 70 million Americans in a country. I'm sorry. Were you, Pedro, in Chile, which I don't mean to disrespect. We have viewers from Chile. Would you have been able to star in a Star Wars movie from Chile? In the government you ran from, which is different now, I believe. So in all fairness, it's different now. And I'm not saying the government he ran from. I just read it in the Wikipedia that there was a military dictatorship and his parents were Marxist. Probably still are. But you're able to come here and do pretty damn good. And that's good. So, and the better thing is you are allowed to, and I absolutely back the fact that you can go shit on 70 million Americans. I'm just saying I can retort. I can retort and point out that you're ungrateful. If you actually believe that, then, healthy people do not do that. Functioning, healthy people who are spiritually happy inside don't post stuff like that. You know what they do? Gina Carano is one of those people who is very healthy and spiritual inside and has a self-confidence that, oh my God, everybody in this country needs. Fearless, and she just puts positive stuff out there. She asks some questions sometimes, but she never attacks. She's got a little wink in her eye, and it's great when she does that stuff. But she doesn't call a bunch of people Nazis. She also doesn't call them SJWs or anything else like that. And she's never been a phobe of any kind, despite the false narrative. But Pedro needs those attaboys, and he needs to get them any way possible. So he goes to the lowest tier, cheapest way to do it. And I don't think The Mandalorian needs that. I don't think Disney Star Wars needs that right now. And there's interesting things going on that we'll talk about in a second, including finding out about another Lucas trilogy. I think it's one of many, personally, and we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, what Gina is doing is positive, and what Pedro is doing is negative. But he got a ton of support for it. Ton of support for it. We got a long way to go, folks. Trina sounds like Trend Guthridge for $1.99. In my head, the story ended at the 50th. It did for me too. I mean, unfortunately, that counts out the great Capaldi. There are two, I would argue, classic Doctor Who episodes in his run. Of course, it's Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline. Both written by the guy I think who should be running Doctor Who, Jamie Matheson. He seems to get it. Trina, that was a good end point. Eric K for $5. Is saying Father Christmas bad now? Is it a non-binary person of multi-gendered Christmas? Well, Eric, it's funny that you bring that up. Santa's husband. Ahem. By Daniel Cobblesmith. Illustrations by App Qua. This is Santa Claus. This is Santa Claus's husband, Mr. Claus. They are married. Santa and his husband live together at the North Pole, at the very top of the world. They love keeping each other cozy in the cold, but each year it seems to get a little warmer. I thought it was going to be because of global warming. We'll read the rest of this later. I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything else. So each page has a sentence. All the workers are men. No, maybe they're not men. They look like men. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's more. $17 that put me back. Thank God I get to write that off. Whew. Harry Mills for $20. This channel really sucks here. Have some money. Seriously, thanks for all the hitherto free content. Throw in some in the bucket for moving expenses. Best wishes to you, the missus, and the Rugrat. Thank you, Harry Mills. This channel does suck. I gotta admit. Yeah, it really does. Not gonna argue with you. Thanks, man. Thanks for the 20. I appreciate it. The missus is doing great. She's working. She's up working. Actually doing pretty well. These, despite she doesn't have a lot of overhead to worry about anymore. But dude, this whole YouTube things that are going on YouTube right now, they make everybody nervous. And that's why the plan was always to, when we can open some shit, is open a comic store, do my show from there, and read comics till I die. That's read old comics till I die. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to go out and change the world. I've paid my dues, man. And I'll continue to do it as long as I have to. But I'm looking to rest at some point. Chill out with the missus. Because right now, yeah, she has to go back to San Francisco every 2 weeks. So I only see her in like 2 week spells, and then she's gone for 2 weeks and comes back. That's going to be going on for the next year. Because unlike George, we have to keep on keeping on because we have a little, not so little mouth to feed, and he's got to go to school, and there's people counting on us, and we got to keep going. Nal Dorley for 10 euros. Hail, sir. I have started reading the Expanse books following your recommendations. I'm just starting book 2. How much of the TV series can I watch before I get into spoilers? Keep up the great work. So you're only on book 2, the first 2 seasons. That's it. The first 2 seasons. Then you'll get in the spoiler territories. I warn you, the books start out great. Like the first 5 books are great. Like great content. And then 2016 happened. And they're almost the best example of like what happens to entertainment after 2016. Hang on a second. I've got to refresh. Oh, hey, Nerdrotic Daily is going to be starting up this weekend. So I'll keep you guys posted. That's why I haven't really shared it. I'm sure they will. If you guys wanted, the Modrotics can share it. There's no content there yet. There will be starting Sunday, I believe. And then it's daily. Then you get 3 or 4 things a day. Boom, 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 boom. Sometimes exclusive videos. A lot of times clips from my live streams. And there has been an offer to go back in the past and pull out some stuff. I think that would be a good idea. This is a great example of how things get That's weird. Okay. All right. It's YouTube, behind the scenes YouTube stuff. Don't worry about it. Okay, I read that one. Here we go. Nicholas Horton, how far down the toilet drain this show has gone, especially with it approaching the 60th. And of course, we're talking about Doctor Who. I think the 60th is the only thing personally keeping it alive, and HBO Max. But the show is lost on HBO Max. In America, it started getting big when it hit Netflix, because Netflix has 100, or at the time, it didn't have this much, but it had the most amount of subscribers than any other streaming service, and still does, and dwarfs everything. The second most, I believe, is Amazon or Hulu. I can't remember which one. One of the two. So it went to Amazon. Well, that was a step down. And then Amazon gave it up. They didn't lose the bidding war. HBO Max was the highest bidder of what was left from streaming services because Amazon gave it up. If Amazon wanted to keep it, they would have kept it. And Amazon's a $1 trillion company. So how badly was Doctor Who doing? Well, they have the data. All the licensing value of Doctor Who is based on one man, David Tennant, and his run. I love the classic Who too. I understand that. But as far as dollars and cents are concerned, David Tennant is what drives this ship. And as long as people are rewatching those episodes, and along with the Matt Smith episodes and Chris Eccleston, Doctor Who's worth a lot of money. But it's not worth as much as it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Right now, we're in streaming wars. So HBO Max grabs it. And while I think it's probably a better streaming service to be on than Disney Plus, what's its next destination? The Peacock Network or BBC streaming, which is what I imagine it'll end up on. And it just keeps losing and losing and losing opportunities to get new eyes on it. I remember China licenses Doctor Who, but they don't show every episode. Professor Chaos 00 for $5. Hey, Gary, just emailed you a link to an article about San Diego County. What a joke. I'm afraid to read it. Don't tell me we're going to lock down again. That's probably my guess. Where'd you email it? I don't see it. Guilt-free Doctor Who. I love that. Oh, here it is. Okay. So there's a purple tier and a red tier here in California. The purple tier is retail, 25% indoor, restaurants outdoor only, church outdoor, gyms outdoor only. Oh, fuck me. What? Hang on, folks. Hang on. Fuck me. Our gym's just shut down. But I went to the gym yesterday. And I was going to go today. But strip clubs can remain open. Well, you know, they need to work. Okay, so, God, I didn't want to talk about this. I'm just going over it right now. Give me a moment. Our case numbers went up because our testing has gone up, but nobody fucking seems to want to listen to that. Supervisor Jim Desmond says if we've learned anything over the past 7 months, it's that this shotgun approach of closing all businesses doesn't work. Instead, we need to look at where people are getting sick and approach it. Shutting down an entire industry goes too far. Putting thousands of San Diegans out of work prior to the holidays is appalling. Facts over fear. According to the reopening plan, a county has to report data exceeding or more, boop, whatever. Yep. My fucking gym just shut down again. Let me tell you about my gym. Why it's important. And why it is more important than a strip club. It's more important than Walmart. Physical health is what keeps you healthy. And for those of us who are sober, it's instrumental. Many of us, many of us sober people work out too. It's very important to our recovery. It gives us something. See, part of the science, of the fucking science of our disease is dopamine levels in our brain. And our brain acts differently than people who are not addicts. And what helps even that out is regular exercise. And it's good to do it in a gym where it's structured. Addicts need structure. They need routine. And it's also, I think it's much healthier to be around other people doing this too. Even though we're all locked in our headphones and stuff, you're still there with another human being. You still have the potential to connect. So it's very, very important. Essential, I would say. So are meetings. So is going to church. This is, it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. We're headed towards another lockdown. Here we go. Here we go. For anybody who thought that shit was going to go away because you voted a certain way, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. And we've already seen some instant regret. Well, as this goes on for 2 years, just know I didn't vote for it. I didn't vote for it. I didn't vote for lockdown.
Nor would I, because I've already watched what happens to my wife's business. And we are one story. One fucking story. And now there's going to be another 1,000 today. I bet you that at least 1,000 just in San Diego just said, fuck it. I'm done. I'm not going to do this opening and closing at fucking limited capacity bullshit for 2 years. I'm done. And then that 1,000 businesses had maybe few employees. Now they're out of work. Because we're still playing games. We're still playing games. There's higher numbers because there's more people testing. The COOF is a common thing. And I don't know what the science is behind all of these tests. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're crap. We've already seen in some instances, they're not reliable. And you are fucking with people's livelihoods, and the people who have the decisions over us are not qualified. We are seeing this. So it is very important next election that we all pay attention to down ballot, the shit that actually affects our lives. Vote your conscience on that. And that doesn't have to be a party person. We need to fucking get away from that. We need to start individually looking at each individual going, is this the right person for the job? That cares about liberty, that cares about freedom, that looks out for the future, because our future is not good right now. And I am generally a pretty positive person. I'm like, we'll get through this together kind of person, and I remain that, but it's going to be rough. Buckle up. Yep. Guess I'm not going to the gym. Here, I'll try to check in right now. I'll see if it happens. Maybe my gym's being rebellious. I hate it when hang on a second. Sorry to do this live, but this is news to me. Fuck. So I'm checking right now to see if my gym is rebellious. Oh, good. They are. Good. Stay open, bitches. Fuck this shit. Good for them. I'm going to pay double my fucking fees now. I'll tell them that too. You stay open, I'll pay double my fees. Triple my fees. I'll start a GoFundMe for you. Fuck it. The gym is vital to me, folks. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I am not as crabby as I used to be because I can work out now. So, do you have HBO Max, Gary? No, I gave up on HBO Max when they started putting warnings in front of films and treating me like a child. When they did it in front of Blazing Saddles as well. So I still find ways to watch things, though. If so, have you rewatched Raised by Wolves on there yet? You might like the show if you have not watched it. Sir Ruin, I've heard it's woke. Quite frankly, I heard it's woke as hell. But I'll check it out. What do you guys think in the chat? Have you seen Raised by Wolves? Is it woke? But I like Sir Ruin. Sir Ruin took me to the Joker in New York. That was awesome. Synth Lord for $5. Do you need a theme song for your channel? I'll do it. I've got one. It's called Beam Me Up. Dude, send me some submissions. I'm always up for change. I won't replace. I like that song, by the way, but we could put it on something else. Synth Lord, yeah. Gary at nerdrotic.com. Email me. Or get a hold of Lady Greymaster on Twitter. Pod Racing Palpatine, winner of Bunta Eve Classic for £1.49 and a phallic unicorn. Hail, brother, hail. Stenson's Gold for £50. It is always darkest before the dawn. It is. And you also have to pay for some of the good times with the bad. You do. There's a thing called karma, and you got to even shit out, and I understand that. Doesn't mean I won't fight. But motherfucker, take away my gym, man. I wanted Missy to get thank you, Stetson's Gold, for the £50 and the very, very true words. You are correct. Mr. Miles, what's up, for $5? I wanted Missy to get a solo series, half redemption arc, half superior Spider-Man. I thought Michelle Gomez did an amazing job in the role. She did. She absolutely did. And I would love to have seen it. She ate up the scenery. And she was a great foil for Peter Capaldi. Why am I forgetting the name now? Why am I forgetting the name? God dang it, I hate it when I forget the name. Darkwater. That's why. Darkwater was a great episode. Death in Heaven, not so much, but Darkwater was a great episode. I liked it. Josiah for Friday Night Tights. Support him in this time, says Mr. Gentleman for $2. Yes, I was going to bring him on Friday if he's available. If he is available, he will be on. We do have a guest. It's the first time we've done a specific guest for a specific thing, but I do think what happened to Josiah relates to it. This Friday, we are going to specifically talk about the SJW and infiltration into fandoms and why they do this, how this happens. And we have a guest we've been talking about for a long time coming on. And I think Josiah would be a great fit if he wants to come on. But yes. And if the Modrotics could you put his Patreon in the description? Real quick, let me read one more super chat, then we'll talk about Josiah real quick. I regret the purchase of A Song of Ice and Fire last month now. Also, remember the old Star Wars comics? One of my faves was Vader versus Maul or Vader versus Boba. They were so good, and we will discuss the George Lucas trilogy. Ryan Cannell did a great video on it, and I completely agree on it. But let's real quick talk about one of our friends, Josiah Rises. He was taken off of YouTube. He was demonetized. And I don't give a damn what YouTube thinks of this. I really don't care at this point. This is young Josiah. For one, and forgive me for doing this, Josiah. Josiah's a kid. He's a kid. He's an adult. He's got a big old beard, but he's a kid. And YouTube doing this is appalling enough, but they gave us all this lip service over the last 2 years about mental health, about caring about mental health. There is a lot of young people on this platform. And yes, Josiah has his views, and you may not agree with them. And that's fine. That's fine. Josiah is a conservative, and he's a Christian. And as a lifelong anti-establishment agnostic, I support him in every way, shape, or form in what he says and what he does. I think right now, what's happening to conservatives and Christians on this platform is digital prosecution. It goes beyond censorship. It's prosecution. Persecution and prosecution. And Josiah he didn't have a single strike. Not a single warning, which means he was in good standing on this platform and they demonetized him. Now, this could be a big mistake that might be corrected in a month or so, right after all the brouhaha is over, because Josiah was discussing that thing that's going on right now, that process. And he has every right to do that. And we need people to do that because it's good to get both sides of the story, or one side in this case, or some truth, because I do not believe we're getting it from the mainstream media. That being said, if you disagree with them, just don't watch. Or take in the information and decide for yourself like an adult. But he's not the only channel this happened to. It happened to Mr. Obvious as well. I'm not that familiar with that channel. Sorry, but it sucks. And I want his, I don't know if he got taken down completely or demonetized. Either one, I want his rights back as well. His rights to, because they're still monetizing Josiah's videos. I promise you, they're just keeping all the money. And I don't know if Josiah's going to get paid for last month. That would be really fucked up if he isn't. Because what YouTube does is they pay you this month for last month. And he's young, so he's handling it pretty well. And I doubt YouTube's thinking about this, but think about how it affects him as a human. And I want you to think about, a kid in his 20s, right? And he's just getting started in life. And for the first time, he's able to kind of strike out on his own, create something on his own. Think about how much that pumps you up. It does. It does. And think about how heartbreaking it is when you take that away arbitrarily without a warning to somebody so young. After a year and a half of telling us how much you care about young people on this platform and care about their mental health, and then you pull something like this, fuck you. Shame on you. Not that I ever believed you for a moment. And I've backed YouTube, and I understand they can't allow everything. This is fucking ridiculous. This is going over the line, and this makes me hold my nose at this platform at this point. A platform that I have strongly, strongly supported. Now, do I think demonetize a video once in a while? Okay, fine. I think that's bullshit too, but fine. Take away his ability for his entire channel without a warning? Despicable. And the only reason you did it, in my opinion, is you got a phone call from your competition. You keep bending the knee to your competition, YouTube. YouTube, you can tell the New York Times to fuck off. The fact that the New York Times needs to pick up a phone and talk about Josiah Rises with 170,000 well-earned subscribers tells you where the mainstream legacy media is at, you pathetic fucking weasels. And you are just hastening your demise. Do you think when people see this, they're going to go, I'm going to start reading the New York Times, or I'm going to go back to the New York Times? No, they're going to find another person on YouTube, and they're going to hear that you did this. And I don't know if it was specifically the New York Times. It could have been CNBC. It could have been, it's one of the mainstream. Cordering did a video on it. His analysis on it was spot on. And you have to go after, you're a $1 billion corporation that needs to go after a kid with 170,000 subscribers. I mean, I want to laugh at you. That is pathetic. That adults are out there scanning YouTube and they're worried about a kid in his room sitting in front of a Lord of the Rings poster. If you're that worried, maybe you should start telling the truth. Maybe you need to look in the mirror. Because if a kid sitting in front of a Lord of the Rings poster is connecting with more people, that's your problem, not his problem. But maybe you know that. And the mighty New York Times, the gray lady, is worried about Josiah Rises. Well, good for you, Josiah, for getting their attention. Sorry it happened this way. We've only just begun, folks. That's why I said we need you on this platform. I know, like, why would I come on this platform? Start as a hobby. Don't give up your day job, please. But we need more of you on this platform speaking common sense, because as they take us out one by one, there will need to be replacements, because this is the last line. I would love to say go to BitChute and also start a BitChute account. And my BitChute account connection from YouTube strangely got severed. So I have to go back and manually upload all the videos, which I will do, and I will start pubbing my BitChute more. Josiah, I think you have a BitChute. If you don't have a BitChute, Josiah, start a BitChute. But he also has a Patreon here, and this is a way to support free speech. He's got $1, $5, and $10 tiers. If you want to support him, if you enjoy his views and his content. I do. I'm a subscriber. And I am going to join his Patreon, by the way. So, and it's only a matter of time until they come after, I'm surprised they haven't come after another channel who I won't mention. A person you know. And then it's only a matter of time until they come after us. Because we ended up on a list. Coincidence. Sure, it's all a coincidence. So please support Josiah. Codenomics says for $5, first time I'm able to catch you live and you slaughter my name, unsubscribed. And he smiles. That's fine. I understand. Now I can see it. Codenomics. It makes sense now. The Shadow Fenrir 24 for $5. Hail, Gary. Would it have been possible to introduce Jodie as another doctor, but still retaining a main season doctor while Jodie does a spinoff? It would have been possible. It depends on how the story went. I was not going to review Doctor Who. Here were my thoughts before the first series aired. I was like, I hate this decision. I think it sucks, and I'm just not going to watch it. I'm done. Doctor Who's done for me. Bye-bye. I'm gone. Then a particular subscriber of mine at the time was like, no, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to review it. You got to watch it. You got to review it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. And he talked me into it. I'm like, fine. So I watched it and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in with an open mind. We'll see how this is, because I do have a rule. Good writing wins out. I really hated the Battlestar Galactica remake concept. Everything about it. And I watched it and I loved it within fucking 10 minutes. So I'm like, fine. So I watched it, and the first episode didn't blow me away, but I'm like, okay. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Then I saw the second episode and I hated it, and it went down from there. But I did try. I don't think it would work. Jodie will never work in this world, because Jodie at the very best is a sitcom guest star, in my opinion. Sorry, dear. I just don't think you're that talented. Maybe it's your gender neutral upbringing. I'm not sure. Andrew Fisher for £5. As a Briton, I am ashamed of the BBC. Hail Star Trek Enterprise and Old Trek. I haven't watched TV for 2 years since smashing the TV with a pickaxe. Wow. Good for you. Take that to your license, too. Apparently, there's a bit of a revolt going on over there, and you guys are canceling your licenses at such speed that, unfortunately, the BBC is unable to keep up with the amount of people. So they've stopped canceling, and they keep charging you. Interesting. Crazy Cat Guy for $10. She will repair the chameleon circuit and the TARDIS will be turned into a blue rocket, a suitable vehicle for Chibnall's shit. Hopefully it doesn't materialize on a construction site after that. Right? Hopefully. Smooth Jam California for £5. You had to watch that trash 50 times? Damn. I do not envy you, Gary. Also, about Zemeckis, was he thinking he was making the next Roger Rabbit? LOL. Yes, he was really his, that technology he was using. I forgot what it was called now. He really thought that was the future. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed Beowulf. I thought Beowulf was awesome. But I did not watch the Polar Express, right? That's the one with Tom Hanks. And Mars Needs Moms is the stuff of nightmares. The stuff of nightmares. Buck Jackson for $5. Gary, what audio book do you suggest for Lord of the Rings? Oh, all of them. But here, I'll show you. I like Robert Inglis. I do. I wish they would find somebody new to read the book. I think he's good. But I think we need somebody with a broader voice range to read it. I would get Jim Dale to read Lord of the Rings. Andy Serkis does a Hobbit, which is great. That just came out, so I recommend that. Hang on. Yeah, it looks like this is probably the last day I can go to the gym. I'm going to tell them to stay fucking open, though. I'll pay them money. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yep. California's going to get locked down again, folks. It's going to get locked down again. All right. So as far as Audible, that was my inside person just messaging me. A couple weeks. Hope I'm wrong. All right. So Lord of the Rings, I would recommend the Robert Inglis one, of course, unabridged. He does all 3 books. Get Andy Serkis's, I can never pronounce his last name, Hobbit. That's very good. And get the BBC audio Lord of the Rings. That is a masterpiece. That's like that is the best of audio adventures, right up there with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, in my opinion, with Ian Holm. And, oh my God, I'm forgetting John LeMessurier as Bilbo from Dad's Army, who's great. He's great. And the way they record it it's hard to explain, but it has depth. A lot of Big Finish does this a lot, but not as much. But a lot of radio shows and radio dramas sound flat. In other words, it sounds like a bunch of people reading in front of microphones. No, they make it, you can tell when it's inside and when it's outside. And you could tell when the room has depth and it doesn't. And it's crazy. They acted it out. So while they were making this, they acted out the scenes. Like they were physically holding the ring. You can hear them sucking on pipes. It's really fucking cool. It's really cool. I'm going to do a review on it someday because I think I have an unhealthy love for the BBC Lord of the Rings radio drama. It's kind of an obsession. but I highly recommend it. Worth every penny. You can get it on disc if you want to. Captain Spire. I just watched the first 2 episodes of Blake 7. Holy crap, Gary. It was made in 1978, and I'm already hooked. Why can't people make things half as good now? Because they can't write. They won't write. They have an unwillingness to, Captain Spire. They could. The talent's still out there. The talent is still out there. Let me check something real quick. All right. There we go. And breaking news, man whose entire income is based on selling fantasy escapism complains because his fans want more fantasy escapism. Vanya Secundus, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, indeed. George R. Martin doesn't get it. People aren't interested in him. They are only interested in the books. I know. And why don't they realize this sooner? I don't know. All creatives are like this. They think all of a sudden they've got a platform, and George has a platform on the Nada blog, and it gets tons of hits, I'm sure. But people check it every day because of Winds of Winter, and I'm sure he saw that the data on his site going up is people kind of thought that, well, shit, he's locked down. He's locked down. He's going to finish the book. This is it. We are in the home stretch right now. And unfortunately, we found out the worst news, which is he's only halfway through the book and he's tweaking it, doing this and that. And it's he said last post, long way to go. And that's in George terms. That's not like, oh, it's just around the corner. And I know there's channels out there telling you he's just around the corner. He's not. If George is telling you it's a long time, it's a long time. Remember, this book was supposed to be finished, and he hinted that it was close to being finished in 2015. So it's gone over major revisions. There's supposedly this big twist that he had to rewrite everything for. I don't know what the truth is. I don't. I think he stopped writing it for a couple of years. And I don't think he shit out Fire and Blood in 6 months. I think it took a year at the very least. The fans have every right to be pissed. Every right to be pissed. Because he could have finished it. Codenomics, welcome to the proto-molecule level. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Juan Aranda Alvarez for $4.99. Can I also get a political free gender identity agnostic comment? Don't do as they do. Can I also get political free Juan Aranda Alvarez for $4.99? Can I also get a political free gender identity agnostic comment? Don't do as they do. You can. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking there, though. You can get one. I promise you, I don't do anything they do. I think I've displayed that in thousands of hours of live streams. Kevin Schoenfeld for $5. No, you're not a fan more than those new. Oh, no, you're not a fan no more, but those new 60s inspired blue Charger baby blue uniforms are gorgeous. Kevin, it's a slap in the face because we wanted those for years, and Dean Spanos wouldn't give them to us until we gave him a stadium. Billionaires should not get stadiums from the public, and there shouldn't be anyone who votes for that. ever. Billionaires could build their own fucking stadiums. And if they're going to take their little balls and go somewhere else, go build another fan base. Good luck. Good luck replacing a 50-year-old fan base in LA, the most fair weather city on the planet. Have fun. There's a reason 2 teams left LA already, and 2 teams will leave them again unless Kroenke owns the Rams forever. But no, the Chargers will end up leaving LA at some point. They might go to Orange County and build their own stadium and try to dip back into San Diego. And there's a lot of San Diego fans who stay with the team. I don't know why. I mean, like you just got fucked and slapped in the face. The Shadow Fenrir for 24. Kentaro I don't even know how to say that, has been working on Berserk. Yes, the Berserk guy since 89. 2 chapters came out this year. I'm betting any money he will finish before George R. R. Martin finishes Game of Thrones. That's a good question. At one time, there was a little joke of, will Cyberpunk come out before it wins a winner? Yes. The answer is yes. Gray Ghost for $10. Speaking of the 20-year rule, when are we getting lazy PC remakes of Clueless, Scream, Pretty Woman, etc.? The Craft, The Witches remake come to mind, but it's usually so-called men's franchises. Well, we'll get it with the so-called rom-coms. They'll do woke versions of the rom-coms. You know, they'll do Pretty Man, and yeah. Is Michael Keaton your Batman? No. Nope. Hail monitors and the AV squad, villains all, says Christopher Malloy for $5. Hail, gentlemen on James. Who is my Batman? Adam West is my Batman. Adam West is my Batman. No, I would say Christian Bale right now. Although I'm a big fan of Batfleck. I am. I would like to see him get a good director and a good story. I'm also interested in seeing the Snyder Cut. I think Ben Affleck did a fine job as Batman. I think there's a lot of hate towards him for other reasons. I mean, he's acted like an ass in real life quite a bit. And it's surprisingly enough, he's been very quiet politically as far as I know. He used to pop off a lot, but he doesn't anymore. Maybe because he's sober. And that's good. Tracy Wilborn for $5. What's up, Tracy? The copyright thing in your intro, it's Perry. Okay. It's something Perry put, and it's incorrect, but if you add it up, it adds up to 1922. It doesn't matter. I think he's just putting X's and O's in there. I don't know if he actually cared. It's good that I love that you guys pay attention though, because you are nerds. The Jaw 15 for 5 Canadian pesos. It took Disney less than 10 years to destroy Star Wars. First big mistake was shutting down LucasArts. Much love from Toronto. Huge fan. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh. Looking at the chat there. Yeah. Where was I? Cave Scout 1739 for $17 said no one should be down $17 for that. Oh, thanks, dude. And he's talking about my Santa's husband, which we will do a read this Christmas. We'll do a proper read We'll do Hardwick Benthal for $5. Gary, you should watch Disney Gallery The Mandalorian, a series of 8 30-minute episodes with Favreau, Filoni, etc., explaining all their creative choices. Ooh, I will watch those. I will. I don't think Miss Claus is going to take too kindly to that book. No. Her and her lesbian lover will be very upset. Yes. Mindless manliness and motivation for $2. I just stick to Pluto TV and classic Doctor Who, and that's a great place to be. I have physical copies, but Pluto TV is a good source. Hey, what are your, thank you for the $2. What are your thoughts on the Wheel of Time TV series? Thanks. Says Grindale, 57 for $5. As with all shows, I'm worried it'll be woke. I've already heard some creative decisions that sound like it will be woke. I hope it isn't. I hope it's the greatest show of all time. There's a lot of good fans out there who deserve a good show, but the creatives in Hollywood, don't give a shit. Got into comics because of your channel. You're awesome. No, you're awesome, Lonely. And that reminds me, that's a story we need to get to. So let's get to it right quick. DC Comics Bloodbath Part 2. More senior DC staffers laid off. DC Comics owner Warner Brothers went on... I got to make sure I'm on the right. There you go. Went on and went through another round of layoffs this week. And while focus was on the East Coast as opposed to the recent West Coast Burbank culling, that has meant a number of DC Comics staffers have also been informed that they will no longer be working for the publisher. DC has already been through a swath of senior figures being let go 3 months ago, and they are suffering the same. This is only the beginning, folks. By the way, they announced that Marie Javins was the new editor-in-chief of DC Comics. The announcement that Marie Javins was the new editor-in-chief of DC Comics went wide, set up and reported simultaneously at Deadline, Variety, and Hollywood Reporter, indicating that the Warner Corporation Communications was involved with the release and that it was an attempt to distract, leading within a positively spun headline with the knowledge that bad news would be leaking out shortly. And as a result, informed sources have told me that a number of DC staffers who were also told that they are being laid off. Many people asked, with Marie Javins elevated to full EIC, what would happen to the former co-EIC, Michelle Wells? Remember, it was 2 women. This is the answer. She gone. They fired her. So they elevated 2 women to the editor-in-chief position. One of them, Michelle Wells, oversaw all that YA crap, like You Brought Me the Ocean and fucking Gotham High. She's gone. It's pretty clear that without schools open, without Scholastic able to funnel shit to our kids, things aren't going so well. And while graphic novel sales are up, that's including manga and children's books, not comic books, not American superhero comic books. So if you said just American superhero books, those are down. Everything down. But children's books and manga, which are now being called graphic novels to help save a bleeding comic book industry and also save a lot of jobs. Turns out it didn't work. Turns out that people actually making the decisions look past your conflation, your attempt to muddy the waters, create a narrative. Adam Phillips, director of marketing, gone. Stuart Schreck, gone. Fletcher Chu Fong, events director at DC Comics, meaning conventions, gone. Lisette Osterloh, VP digital marketing, gone. Michelle R. Wells, Wells, co-editor-in-chief, gone. Alex Carr, gone. However, no official statement has been made. DC Comics is not returning emails on this matter, but I understand that there are 2 others as well, totaling 9 staffers. As before, what is notable is that, again, it is individuals with the most experience, the longest standing status at DC Comics, who are most likely being made redundant. With DC losing centuries of combined experience, well, that combined experience oversaw a disaster that they did nothing about. And I'm sure some of these are good people. And I'm sure some of these people are incompetent assholes. I don't fucking know. I'm very sorry people lost their job, but they should after what happened to the comic book industry, which was dead before the coof got here. And dead, I mean dead in a sense that it's a viable industry for making money in, where you can go and have a job and pay your bills. It's a hobby. If you want to get into comics full time, you better have a platform and you better go out on your own. And if you want to work part-time for one of the big 2 or the big 4 or whatever, to make a few extra bucks, okay. But right now, they're a side gig. There was a time where editors could send their kids to college at Marvel Comics and DC Comics. Not anymore. Sorry. Responding to the wife who was showing me her workplace, which is a garage. Yeah, she's all, yeah, fucking California. Fucking sucks. So what's going on? Bob Harris is gone. And Mark Doyle, Bobby Chase, Andy Corey. Oh, so sorry to see that asshole go. He was an asshole, trust me. But Jim Lee's still there doodling for some reason. Dan Didio's gone. I think he should be gone. And we're going to get, what the fuck are we going to get? I don't care what we're going to get. We're going to get a bunch of garbage. We're going to get a retooled 5G. And what we're going to get is probably a reduced amount of superhero books. And they might use this next 2 months where this garbage is coming in to kind of retool everything. Who knows? It's not going to be enough to keep a lot of comic shops afloat. And I would be looking for other ways. I mean, there is a way for comic shops to stay in business forever without selling new books. You just have to, you're going to have to push a lot of things. It takes a lot of work that I don't know if people are willing to do. A lot of work. But what's happening, folks, is the holidays. And the other facet of this, which doesn't get brought up, is the shops. Shops rely heavily on holidays. Well, based on what I'm hearing right now, I don't know if many shops are going to have holidays. And you will hear January, February, this shop is closed. This shop who's been around for 30 years is closed. We've already heard that a lot. I don't want to hear it. I'm not looking forward to hearing it. It's not something I'm rooting for to prove I was right. I don't give a shit about being right or wrong. I don't care. I wanted comic books to be less partisan and less political, just like I wanted Star Wars and Doctor Who and Star Trek. That's all I wanted, personally. There was a lot of money to be made if you just told a straight Spider-Man story. But what did we just get? Antifa Batgirl. Antifa motherfucking Batgirl. Showing me they haven't learned a single fucking thing. and they're going to go down woking. And idiots like, I'm sorry, ill-informed people. Ill-informed people like Rich Johnston perpetuate the narrative. I forgot American Gods was still around. Did it? I didn't even bother with season. I tried one episode of season 2, and it was terrible. Did it get better? I saw American Gods thing. So George Lucas, I'm going to talk about both things on the way out here, but George Lucas came out and he has one of his Star Wars stories. And it's going to be in a Taschen book. Taschen Book's a great company, by the way. Great company. And apparently within this book, they talk about George's plan for the sequel trilogy included Darth Maul and Darth Talon as the villains, Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order from survivors of Order 66, Leia. I used to call her Princess Leia all the time in school. That's what everybody called her for the longest time back in the day. Leia forming the New Republic, becoming the Chosen One. More in the Star Wars Archives, episode 1 through 3. Ryan Cannell talked about this in his video. I highly recommend you see it. George changes his mind a lot. That wouldn't have been feasible in the current era, even when Carrie Fisher was around, because she wasn't able to film as much as they needed her to film when she was alive. I've already talked about how I think she'd still be alive if she wasn't doing Star Wars. Some of the pressures of her life, unfortunately, she suffered from addiction as well, and it cost her life, and it's very sad. It's very sad. This would have been, okay. And it's supposed to be like Darth Maul centralized the criminal world and he becomes the big bad. So they don't bring back an empire. It's all the underground elements who took advantage of the republics, of the New Republic, right? Trying to bring order back to the galaxy. And then you have this character. I like Ryan. I understand why she's popular. I'm sure she wouldn't have looked like that in the movie. But there you go. Now, George has already said that Anakin was the chosen one. I don't care. I don't care. I used to care. I don't care. But what looks like to me, I'm just going to get to the point on this one. This feels like revisionist history. Disney had to sign off on this book. And the fact that they signed off on this book and they allowed one of George Lucas's concepts to get out there that wasn't out there already through a book that they had to sign off on tells me something. I'm not sure what, though. No, I don't think they're going to erase the Disney trilogy. But I know they know that they fucked up. And that's why we got The Mandalorian. And that's why The Mandalorian is safe. I think Disney would like to forget about the Disney trilogy. And I think that's a possibility. Swept under the rug. I don't know how you do that. What's the latest rumor that we're going to get a Boba Fett series? Why? I know why. Because Mandalorian's working and they need something to work desperately, because they have lost so much on this franchise and now it counts more than ever because it's a revenue stream. They need revenue streams desperately. Disney's in bad shape. I guess we find out how bad tomorrow. I guess there's an earnings call tomorrow. Maybe it's today. I have no idea. Again, I don't care that much. I don't. I don't get like no feelings get mustered up. I just go, interesting that Disney would allow that to get out there. But why not? Darth Maul trained a girl, Darth Talon, who would in the comic books, and this is in, of course, Star Wars Legacy, and back when Dark Horse had Star Wars, and those were good days. I'm trying to remember when this comic came out. It had to be during my run. Unless it was right after I left. Adam Hughes drew that. Good. So then we have Gina getting a bunch of shit. The Mandalorian fans call for Gina Carano to be fired over likes on personal Twitter account. Again, this whole thing was started by Pedro Pascal. Posting, sure it's up here. Yeah, you didn't put it up there, John? Come on. Hang on. Making me work. Oh, look at that. Oh, I got to scroll through all this. Hang on. There we go. I want to get to the original one, though. Sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy. There we go. So this is what he posted. Losers in 1865, blah. Losers in 1945, blah. Losers in 2020, blah. But I like this comment. I'm sorry, but comparing Trump and his supporters to this kind of extreme LOL, he laughs. We haven't been living under a dictatorship for the last 4 years. It's still been America. Yes. It is. And it's because you can post that proves something like that. And I don't care how you feel politically. This is bullshit. He shouldn't do stuff like this because Star Wars doesn't need it. And he felt so strongly about it. We're going to go over there. It was deleted. It was deleted. Well, then all of a sudden they started going after Gina. Like this time around. And Gina handles it perfectly. She just like... There's nothing to get upset about over this stuff when they come after you. And the biggest difference to what Pedro Pascal has done and what Gina has done is night and day. Gina didn't want to put up pronouns. That was it. That was all. She didn't call 70 million Americans communists, Marxists, assholes, Nazis, whatever. She didn't. Pedro did, unsolicited, and only took it down because I believe Disney asked him to take it down. And that's why the fandom menace exists. Dun, 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 dun. The Mandalorian star Gina Carano has once again found herself in the sights of an outrage mob, this time due to her liking of tweets that did not conform to popular left-wing political perspectives. This particular instance of indignation towards Gina appears to have begun on November 8th, following Carano's call to clean up the election process, which I agree. While Sci-Fi Fan Girls Associate of Editor Courtney Enlow declared that Gina Carano is just the worst after pursuing the actress likes on Twitter. Yeah, okay. Editor Courtney Enlow. There she is. I'm looking at her Twitter. Hang on. We're going to go there. I want to go there because I have a little point to make. So she's a associate editor at something called Siffy Fangirls. Trends like these, Siffy Fangirls podcast, Siffy Fangirls. I don't know why it's Siffy. Yeah, let's go check it out. Oh, it's sci-fi. It's Siffy. So she works for Siffy. So she works for a giant corporation. I believe the giant corporation is Comcast, right? Comcast. So, tool of a giant corporation, and Siffy Wire, Fangirls, and probably Fake Geek Girl, has decided to go through Gina Carano's tweets to find out who she liked. So I would just like to state, Courtney, young lady, I want you to remember and be grateful that you live in the greatest country in the world. It must be because it allows you time to go through somebody else's Twitter account to see who they liked so you could persecute them. That is absolute luxury. You don't have to crap outside. You don't have to dig a hole for water. I hope you don't have kids to raise, and you must not have any bills to pay. That you have that kind of time to go after somebody because you don't like their opinions on the internet. But what you do have time for, and obviously the money, because you're in a great society, is to find, seek, and get the help you need. Because you're sick. You're not healthy. You don't feel good about yourself. Your self-esteem is rock bottom. And I'm hoping you're not addicted to any substances or you drink, because like you're vulnerable right now. Vulnerable. You're at the lowest stage. If you were in recovery, I would say you're in relapse, and I would make you do 90 and 90 immediately as your sponsor. Because going after somebody else to see who they liked based on opinions is unhealthy. A lot of people in the country like that right now, and it's too bad. But just you in particular, because you wanted to go out and single somebody out, I'm going to single you out. This is what an unhealthy self-esteem looks like. Don't be like Courtney. Don't be like Courtney. You see, I get mad at Pedro because he insults large amounts of people, but I let it go. Boom, it's gone. Not thinking about it at all. I'm not going to go through Pedro's social media accounts looking for what he's like. I let it go. I speak, I move on. What you did was, again, sick. Really sick. And, I would maybe take a little time off of work. Maybe the coof's getting to you. I don't know. I mean, work. Podcasting. So Courtney, I don't want anybody talking to her or going after her on Twitter or anything. She's got enough problems in her life, obviously, right now. And again, I hope to God she's not a mom. And hopefully she gets the help she needs. Because that, again, is what a very, very, very low self-esteem looks like. Alpha Omega Records for £5. I've had to buy equipment from a home gym. I've got severely depressed during the UK lockdowns. It's been so hard to survive. I empathize, Gary. So sorry. No, I'm glad you did that. And you went out and you were able to do that and get the exercise. It's so important. And listen, we can go out and take walks and stuff like that. And I would if that's all you can do, do it. But I like the gym. But I can go out and walk or run. But not everybody can do that. For one, it's horrific on your knees if you're old like me. And your back. But thank you, Alpha Omega Records, and I'm glad you're working out. Please keep doing it, please. Gray Ghost for $5. I got into the stream late. Did you cover today's New York Post article, Ticketmaster, beer bug vaccine, and concerts? I haven't, and I'll probably do that on Friday. I'll check it out on Friday, Gray Ghost. Thank you. Not Gay Ghost, Gray Ghost. Jesus. Wait until Biden enters in 3 more months of lockdown will be great. Oh, it'll be longer in 3 months. Oh, wait till we get Biden enter in 3 months. Yeah, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. PA Grunt for $4.99. Funny days after the election, several Democrat areas increased restrictions. Coincidence? Nope. Hashtag the Great Reset. Yep. Look into that. The SJWs have begun their offense on Warhammer 40K. They put class warfare into the Marnus Kalgar comic. Polygon reported on it. They did. They want Warhammer really bad. Cold Winter's Night for $5. They want it bad, just like they want Lord of the Rings. Keep fighting. Son of the Wolf for $5. Hail, Gary, just got my swag yesterday. Love it. Thank you. I'll post pictures on Insta later. Please do. And Mrs. Neurotic or I will echo that. Dolores Ed for $4.99. Can't talk Game of Thrones without me popping up. Canceled Disney Plus the other day when they asked me a reason why I selected other and put Pedro Pascal. Hail. Very good. Oh, there's another reason a bunch of people are going to cancel because the Verizon thing ended, right? I think Ryan mentioned that as well. Oscar Meyer for $5. I can't get notifications. Says content made for kids. What? Oh. Wait a minute. No, it's not. I'm going to share my screen. I wonder if they changed it because I read out of this book. You fucking kidding me? Hey, Oscar Meyer, if you're out there, screen cap that for me. Email it to me, Gary@nerdrotic.com. And if any of you see something like that, if it says content made for kids, please screenshot that and get it to me ASAP. Doesn't matter if you do see it, please, for £5. Credit to The Expanse for Anna's lesbian relationship in season 3. Worked with her character and made her more interesting, not an empty virtue signaler. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. No, The Expanse sets a future that's realistic. That's realistic. And the one thing I appreciate is it basically says the UN took over the planet, right, after an environmental crisis, and they run it like shit. I think that's pretty accurate. That the UN would run a planet like shit. And there's a thing called basic income and half the planet's on it. And it's just, it's terrible. It's terrible for the economy. And like, they don't even mention like small business, but there's like these giant mega corporations that, yeah, it gets pretty, the book series takes a bad turn though. Last month, they gave Josiah a subs plaque, and now this. Not cool, YouTube. Yep, Rob Atlas for $5. Yeah, and apparently they did not like me bringing him up either because they stopped recommending the video, the live stream. I'm a Luciferian, and even I and others of my belief system think YouTube is treating Christians like trash, and it needs to stop. Nick Bravo for $5. Thank you. We need to gather together on this, okay? Again, as an agnostic, and I'm only slightly an agnostic, by the way. I do believe in something. I just, I'm not into organized religion, but by all means, if that makes you happy and that's what, that's how you get your spiritual on, please do that. And I would never, ever shame you for it. And I think there is a persecution of Christians by Silicon Valley and Hollywood. It started out as a safe place to go for Hollywood because they needed a bad guy and they refused to do it with other religions anymore. And now it's turned into a dead meme, a trope, and it needs to stop. And if they gave other religions as much shit as they gave Christians, I would be less critical, but they don't. Gary, I'm a bit older than you, but you and Doomcock inspire me. I started my own channel to support critical thinking and the drinker too. I like analyzing film and television. I do too. And I'm going to get back to that. I'm currently working on something like that. It's going to be a little while, but that's what I've been very busy working on. I might occasionally stop to give you some news, but you're going to get a lot of reviews. A lot of reviews. Getting back to that. It's been a long time. Now I do my low tier ones, but I'm going to give you proper video analysis. Fat Steven, and thank you. And I'm glad yes, more people need to be on this platform because we need more people of common sense. And the more people that are on it, it's the numbers that'll get them. It's not the individuals. Although it needs to be a lot of individuals. But the Fandom Menace was successful in getting Disney to at least notice that there was a problem with Star Wars because of its numbers. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Pedro for 2 Canadian pesos. Gary, I redid the Santa's Husband cover. Oh, yes. Did you tweet it to me? I'm looking. I can't show that. But it's good. I'll retweet it. How's that sound, brother? Thank you. Nothing special. Just keep up the good work, Gary. Thank you, Ajay Borker. I appreciate it. Diego Natton for 5 rubles. I bet Tolkien will finish the unfinished tales before Martin ends A Song of Ice and Fire. I agree. George hiring a ghostwriter may inspire him. It might, Scott Rainford. But he'd never do it. No. Sadly, the late, great Christopher Lee never did a Lord of the Rings audiobook, but he did The Children of Hurin. Yes, he did. A story from the Silmarillion. Get it? It's so good. Oh, I have it. It's on my Audible. But this is what you want. That is good. But I have the children. Here we go. I got my Halo books too. But yes, if you get this. There we go. Oh, we don't want it to start. Read by Christopher Lee. That's right. It's good stuff. I'd rather watch Doctor Who than have story time again, please. And hail to all the veterans today. Hail, veterans. Thank you, Blizzard, for $5. I appreciate it. AJ Borker, thank you again for the $5. Derek Maggard for $5. In the brief uptime, Jeremy's Hillary Clinton video said it was removed by Uploader. Do you really think he'd remove it? Unless he might have made a mistake on it, but no, I don't. Did it break YouTube? Hang on. Let me I don't know. Hang on. I don't know what Jeremy's latest video was. I'm live streaming. Let's see. I don't see anything. Did they get rid of it? Yep, it's gone. Hey, Jeremy, if you're out there, text me. What happened? Maybe he already did. At 4:15, all new people or people refreshing lost all video. Only chat was working. Thank you, Eric, for letting me know. I should have caught that sooner. I was wondering why 1,000 viewers just went boop. I'm like, maybe I suck all of a sudden, which is always a possibility. Trust me. Jeremy's latest, what did he do? What did Jeremy's latest video do? I need to know. Tell me in the chat. Here, just hit at Nerdrotic. What the fuck is going on? I have no idea what's going on with YouTube. It says my stream is in excellent condition and it's never blinked once. So it must be something on YouTube's end. I am sorry, it's happening. We have 1,975 likes. Thank you very much. We got one new member. We still have 2,300 people watching. We had 3,400 people watching. Love you all. I know there's been some problems. I guess Eric just let me know. Eric K, you're fucking awesome, by the way. That is my moderator, Eric K, the Modrotic, one of the many. We got Chris Persia, we got Mark Rosette. Those guys are awesome. Nyla Shadow. So yeah, 4:15, people could not see the screen. Great. I want a Doom game where Alex Jones voices the entire thing. I do too, Nathaniel Larson, for $5. I would actually play that over and over again. You think the frogs are gay? Take this. Boom. I'll eat his ass. I will. I'll eat it. That needs to be a sound in my soundboard. I'll make that happen. Hi, Gary. Love your channel. Can you recommend any good Star Wars books? I'm the last person to ask about that. Yes, Ruben Martinez. Revenge of the Sith. Read Revenge of the Sith. It is great. It is absolutely, it's got a great audiobook too. But I was recommended, and I'm starting to read a little bit of Kenobi. It was Kenobi. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Dark Empire. I like Dark Empire. I mean, like, I don't have an extensive EU. I read most of the comics. I love Dark Empire. I love Dark Empire too. Yeah. Heir to the Empire. Those are all great books. Those are all the books I read. I didn't get deep into the EU. But thank you, Ruben Martinez, for $4.99. Me so trash for $10. I am from the future. I think 2020 was bad. Wait, if you think 2020 was bad, wait till 2021. Yeah, no shit, right? Real Jones, welcome to the proto molecule level. Thank you for your support. And Editor MG Goalie, welcome to the proto molecule level. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it here. You help support. Ooh. Whoa. Sorry, all the power blinked. I'm glad. Am I still connected? Yes, I'm still connected. That's good. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay, we're gonna wrap up till the end. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Just checking. Do. If I missed one, I'll get it in the square up. By the way, all square ups go on Nerdrotic Live. This will go on Nerdrotic Live. Thank you to the 2,300 people who stuck through all the problems that was going on. I have no idea. One person said they were getting kitty content, which is shitty because it's not. And I don't want to get labeled with that either. But it's still showing up on my feed on my phone, so that's good. Okay, so next time I'll be live, I will be on with the Critical Drinker tomorrow at let me see what time. I don't know. I didn't get a time on the Rocky thing. There it is. I'm thinking it'll probably be like 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Pacific. Okay. And Doomcock, heel versus babyface, yours truly, and the Critical Drinker will be talking about the Rocky franchise. We'll be discussing the Rocky franchise. Don't think there's going to be an Exozone tomorrow because I have a lot of work to do. I promised a chill stream Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, chill stream. No identity politics, no culture war, no politics of any kind. Just tell me what you love. We're going to come with shit we like. You can complain about George if you want to, though. That'll be fine. I'll allow that. But yeah, we're gonna discuss. It's just gonna be a chill stream. I'm gonna try to bring on some guests, and we are gonna just talk about things we like, properties we like, movies we like. Bring recommendations. A lot of people have been asking. I was supposed to do it Monday, and it got pushed back, so it's gonna be Saturday at 8:30. All right. Nationwide server farm issues. We're working on it. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Thank you, Captain Spire. And that's a good source. And Captain Spire, thank you. And listen, did you get my message on Twitter? I saw that you, some super chats were missed in the square up. I didn't get to the whole episode. That's only a part 1. But I'll get to yours. I'll get them. And listen, if I ever miss one in a square up or anything, please email me and let me know. We're human. And Lady Greymaster goes through with a fine tooth comb and she tries to find them. But again, this Friday, we're doing all of them. And I think we're probably going to do that from here on out. Because it'll actually, it actually takes more time to go up and do a square up. So I'm going to just stay. Because and the guests will be let go, but they can stay if they want, and I will sit for 8 hours if I have to finish it. No problem. I love you guys. Gary, how do I find you on Amazon? Here, I'll get you the link. Here is this is just stuff I recommend. You don't have to buy it. Okay. It's just stuff I recommend. And I haven't updated it in a while. In like a month. I don't want to do that. There we go. There we go. So this is my Amazon storefront. There you go. All right. That is going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, everybody. And I guess there's a server problem. So have a great day. Be kind to each other. And we'll see you tomorrow. Remember, not all who wander are lost. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Nerderotic.com.
Thank you to the Modrotics. Thank you to everyone who became a member. four new members. And thank you to everyone who super chats and who helped keep the lights on. Thank you to everyone who participated, who clicked, who liked. You are always, always appreciated. I can't say it enough. Got another super chat in there. Dean Timothy for $10. New guy here. Hail Gary. Hail Gina. But that Courtney chick does have kids. That's sad. That's even sadder. Good night, everyone. I hit that too soon.